On this video, I'm gonna show you our last day in Guatemala. The first thing that we did is visit Lake Atitlan, which is a breathtaking highland lake in Guatemala. It's very famous for its natural beauty because it has a lot of vibrant culture all around the lake. You have towering volcanoes around it and wonderful villages. Most people that visit Guatemala for the first time do add Atitlan Lake on their itinerary, so here is what you should expect. It's a very safe and touristic place. However, we did not have enough time to do any of those things. You can go kayaking, take a boat from one village to another, go hiking, explore local markets, all kinds of activities. We just want to show you what the place is like, and also if you want to visit the lake with a rented car, do make sure you get an automatic because the roads are quite steep, and I do highly encourage only very experienced drivers to drive around the lake. And after visiting the lake, we're going to drive back to Guatemala City.
Another place that's very, very popular in Central America and in Guatemala especially is Lake Atitlan. This is it. Right now it's like midday, you cannot really see it, but there are two volcanoes on the other side of the lake, and there are a bunch of boats that would take you from one village to the other because the entire lake is very touristy. They have a lot of very colorful villages all around it, and right now we're just on this road driving around the lake, trying to get to Guatemala City, the capital of Guatemala. And I just have to mention that the roads around the lake are extremely steep, probably the steepest, if that's a word, I've ever driven on.
Steepest, yeah.
And I do not recommend this for the faint-hearted.
It's the hipsters found it.
It's just no. So yeah, sorry, yeah, Eddie.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that the hipsters found it, and it was harder for the hipsters to get here than for Columbus to reach America.
For us, it was. I thought it was going to die.
But here lie the vegan burgers, and this is the deepest lake in all Central America.
It is.
And to be honest, since it's such a hot day, it's always a hot day here. When you get here and you're next to a body of water, it's pretty fun.
It feels refreshing. So yeah.
And the image of the two volcanoes behind it,
Because
that makes for a nice post.
Lake. It's a volcanic lake.
Could you imagine that?
Yeah.
And apparently there are all these villages where you can go and drink coffee, and I'm just gonna stop right here.
This is a volcanic lake, as it's surrounded by volcanoes, and it's the deepest lake in Central America, about 390 meters.
Yeah, something like
deep.
that.
Yeah. And they discovered like an ancient Mayan city somewhere inside, like deep, like, you know.
So all the Mayan cities have to be excavated to be discovered, so it's going to be a while.
It's going to be a while. So the thing to do is just stay around the lake in a village and take a ferry, like a small boat, and go to another village, stuff like that. You can spend here even a week around the lake.
Get yourself a fishing cap.
Also get yourself sunscreen.
Fishing rod.
And everything. And also this is actually at the high altitude. It's about 1,500 meters high, right? The altitude of the lake?
It is, so your nose and your ears and everything's gonna go.
And those are the famous chicken buses, which are actually the only participants in the traffic here in Guatemala that do scare me like a lot.
We conclude our Guatemalan journey here. We've seen almost all that there is to see on the touristic map. It's taken us at least 10 hours in the car every day, but a lot of it was worth it.
Worth it, huh?
I would say Guatemala is very nice for touristy things, equal to many other famous places like Morocco or Costa Rica, but damn, it's hard to reach these places. And hard to climb up the hill. I'm going in the shade.
So after visiting the lake, we drove basically back to Guatemala City, the capital of Guatemala, because we had to catch a plane later that day. So I took basically what Waze, the recommended app for driving in Guatemala, told me. And at this point, we reached a small river going through what is a dirt road. I do think that it's important to know that this is not how roads in Guatemala are. It was just shocking to see it because up to this point, for 9 days straight, all the roads were in really good condition, and now all of a sudden, like, Waze got me through this national road, which indeed, well, people were working on it. You cannot see it in this picture, but just a few kilometers back, there were construction works going on. So it was a bit of a shocker, but there were other vehicles and motorcycles on this road. And there were some locals putting some rocks on it to make it more drivable. So now you're on the road again. That was extremely weird, so that's why I'm showing you this. But Guatemala is not like this usually, it's just this part.
So we just crossed this road, which was through a river. Like, this is the road, some sort of highway. What just happened? This is the road.
And since we are going from Lake Atitlan back to Guatemala City, we took the direct route, which was through the mountains. So at this point, we were kind of at a high altitude. I think it was about 2,000 meters altitude. So we were driving through a village, and it was just cloudy and misty. And the only possible explanation is because of the altitude. Then we stopped at a random cafe to get some snacks, some sort of a brunch, a Guatemalese brunch, and we had the most awesome view. We were the only customers, and it was really nice. We were served with tortillas, with no meat, just cheese. The lady who worked there was really nice. She explained everything. She served us a delicious meal. It was really, really fun and nice. So I do recommend that if you're traveling in Guatemala, don't be afraid to just eat on the side of the road. We've done this a bunch of times, and we were always pleasantly surprised by the kindness of locals. The food is always really good. The coffee is good. I cannot be more happy with everything that I lived and experienced in Guatemala. When the bill came, I was also very surprised to see it was very affordable. So they did not try to scam us or anything, but they did have indeed prices on the menu. So yes, this was very close to Guatemala City. I was trying here to show you the road and the city, and then we reached the city and stopped at a shopping mall, the Miraflores shopping mall, which also has a museum right next to it. It's an archaeological museum, and you can visit it. This is the rooftop of the museum, which offers great views of Guatemala, which is a huge city. So this is basically just the suburbs side. On the other side, you can see more of the city. The museum is super interactive, has a lot of for instance, here I was playing this game. Based on my birthday, they can tell me, according to the Mayan sacred calendar, what spirit am I. I think they have 12 spirits, and each one has a certain significance and a name. So this one is mine. And then we also learned so much about the way of life of Mayans, because they kept good records. Unlike other ancient civilization, they had the records and writing and a calendar. So that's super interesting if you're into. While this museum is not on everybody's itinerary in Guatemala, I'm happy we randomly found it because it was actually next to the mall. So we stopped for the mall because we were a bit too early to get to the airport. We got some ice cream, something to eat, and it was actually the best option for us because there are a lot of shopping malls around Guatemala City and all of them have private parking, which is a must. Then we reached the airport.
We made it back to the airport after 1 week in Guatemala.
This was the moment that I realized that driving in Guatemala and renting a car was the best decision ever. I have an entire video on driving in Guatemala if you want to do the same. We used Hertz and it was amazing.
Bye bye. Guatemala rental. Bye-bye. This was our rental and it was our home for 8 days. It was great. Rica. It was hard. We did a lot of things together.
Yep. You spend so much time anywhere. It's hard to leave.
We were still a bit early at the airport, but I do recommend getting early at the airport no matter what. You never know what the traffic will be like around Guatemala City. It tends to be super crazy. That's why I say only drive around here if you're a very experienced driver.
So this is us in the airport in Guatemala. I never thought that we will be in the situation to have to I don't know. How do you say this? To compress our luggage.
I guess so.
Yeah. I mean, this has to go, this has to go, that has to go on Eddie, and the clothes that he's wearing need to go someplace.
This is what happens when you try to combine a wedding with a mountain, with a volcano hike
And a mountain.
across multiple continents.
And a glacier hike.
Yeah. So if anything, I'm underdressed, underpacked.
That's mine. This was on me, but I'm gonna put it. Oh, I forgot that my small bag. This is just food. We can get rid of it. This is just shoes that I will put on. It's all about the clothing. So the weather and the luggage you have with you, it's a matter of clothing.
Of making things work on multiple continents, multiple climates, which I guess we've already done because you have a few climates in Guatemala already.
Yeah, you
Don't
do.
look at my eyes, I'm completely tired.
It's our flight to San Jose at 9:31.
Since we only traveled with carry-on, we were able to pass security quite fast, but then we were waiting for our flight for a long time. It was a bit delayed. We are traveling to Costa Rica next, to San Jose especially, and we're gonna show you what the life of a digital nomad looks like. It's gonna be less about exploring Costa Rica and more about staying in San Jose, the capital of Costa Rica, where to stay if you're a digital nomad, and just want to get work done, not just experience stuff and have fun and spend money. And basically that's why we chose our next destination to be Costa Rica, which we're going to talk all about in our next video. I hope you enjoyed our trip so far. I hope you watched all our videos from Guatemala and you had fun. I hope it inspires you to plan a trip to Central America. If you have any questions, as always, please post them in the comment section and I will get back to you, helping you planning your next trip. Thank you for watching and don't forget to subscribe. See you next time.